Hello, everyone. Welcome to the Trucking Tower podcast. I'm very excited to be joined again by my friend Monte King, who is a principal with Commercial Insurance Associates. You know, it's been great podcasting with him and talking with Monte during the past couple of years. And something I want to tell you about Monte is he's always looking to help companies achieve new heights of success. How are you doing today, Monte?
I'm doing great, and it's always a pleasure catching up with you, Andy. Thank you for having me today.
Absolutely. Thanks for coming on with me. I was looking forward to sharing this with our audience. And just as a quick kickoff, I'd like to thank our sponsor, True Diligence. If you're looking to streamline your background checks and to open up new possibilities with a company that has 30 years in the business and over 1,100 clients, please be sure and click that link below. So, you know, Monte, I was excited to have you on again with me. And today we're going to be talking about how to avoid overpaying for commercial insurance. I think a lot of our audience is going to want to know about this, right? Who wants to overpay for commercial insurance?
No one I know, that's for
Right.
sure.
Nobody that I know either. So, but there are some really key things that you want to do, and also some key things not to do, really, in landing the best rates and talking with you. So, first of all, I'd like to go back to the beginning. How did you first get involved in this commercial insurance arena?
Sure, absolutely. And really, I'd like to go just one step even further back than that. My purpose in life is to serve, and I get great joy from serving and helping others. And it's what I'm called to do. And a college friend of mine had a father who owned an insurance agency and gave me an opportunity to work there. And when I realized the impact that I could make by leveraging insurance programs to help companies control their operating costs, I never looked back. And it's something that I've been doing now going on 15 years. And I'm learning every single day. I'm still learning. And the challenge is something that helps me avoid becoming burnt out. I've never woke up and was like, oh gosh, I got to go to work today.
Right.
I've been so excited about it, and I love what I do. And hopefully, my clients and prospects or your audience can hear that in the way that I talk about it. So,
Absolutely, I think it's so important. Always be learning, always be discovering, or else you can get burned out real quick. Honestly.
Yes.
So I totally agree with that. You know, you and I were recently talking, and you were telling me about some really key things actually not to do when working to get the best insurance rate and rates and the coverages that you need. You talk about riding a Razorblade. Can you explain what you mean by that?
Sure. And specifically, that's referring to the renewal process itself. Shopping your renewal is like riding a razor blade if the agents are controlling the renewal process. It can create confusion with underwriters. Agents can fight over markets. They can ask for you to assign certain markets to them, which means you have to fire someone else. The underwriters are like, what's going on? Maybe these guys aren't really serious. So if you allow the agents to control the renewal process and your result that you want to attain is to get the best rate without sacrificing coverage, you're doing it the wrong way, because you might get the best rate on that specific day, but you're losing control of what happens the other 364 days of the year.
Right. Absolutely. And, you talk about controlling the renewal process, right? Yes. So what does a good renewal process look like?
Great question, Andy. And designing a renewal strategy to create competition between underwriters, not agents, is the key to controlling your process and to getting maximum rate reductions at the end for the final result.
Right. Absolutely. And we talked a little bit about always be learning. You mentioned to me, education is life's great equalizer. Yes. So can you tell our audience a little bit more about what do you mean by that?
Yes, education is life's great equalizer. Now, for me, that means that education levels the playing field. And how I relate that to the renewal process is once you have the underwriter's playbook, you can design an insurance program to win. So you can create a strategy to win. And when I mean win, I mean you get the best rate and you control your insurance program for 365 days a year, not just getting the best price one day a year. And it's a totally different ball game whenever you play in that arena. So you've got to take back control. And to do that, you have to be aware of what the underwriters are looking for.
Absolutely. It reminds me of a story. I was working on a contract renewal one time, and it was a big one. It covered 150 buildings, and it was internet and telecom. And I was doing a contract negotiation. And all of my colleagues in IT were telling me, we've always done it this one way, right? We've always done it that way. And they did it that way for 20 years. And I said, well, I want to try a different approach where we actually bring in some competitive intelligence of these companies we're bidding with and get some really good rates, right? And I was met with so much resistance. We ended up cutting that contract by over 40%.
Absolutely.
By using knowledge.
Yes. And that goes,
knowledge is key.
Yes. And it goes back to the riding the Razorblade, the traditional way that motor carriers have historically shopped to get a better rate is like riding a razor blade. You've got to understand how to attain the end result that you want. And that's by being aware of what the underwriting playbook looks like. What are they looking for? So we can leverage it to get maximum credits and control that rate.
Right. Absolutely. So on this whole idea of, controlling your rates, getting the best rates you can and doing it in a good way, what would you say are 2 or 3 keys to success in landing the best rates on the coverages that you need?
Sure. And again, a great question because it's all about the process. And at the end of the day, the keys to success are pretty simple. Better awareness leads to better decisions, leads to better results. So when I go to work, I need to understand 3 things. I need to understand the structure of the current insurance program, the structure of the organization itself, and the company vision. So if these 3 things are not aligned, your insurance program could actually be choking the life out of your company profits.
Right. Absolutely. Great points, and in your work that you do, Monte, can you tell our audience, kind of what are the kinds of companies you work with, any particular size type of companies? Who are you guys working with?
Sure. So I like to say, we work with all shapes and sizes, right? So my team can work with the single owner operator for their needs, or we can work with fleets and even national motor carriers. The characteristics of the companies that we seem to work well with are companies or ownership that is faithful, available, intentional, teachable, and humble. So those characteristics really are the foundation of someone being able to get maximum rate reductions because they're going to receive well all the information from the underwriting playbook and take advantage of it. Now, right. If you don't mind, if I can give you a quick example, I had a company about 3 years ago come to me at the very last minute, and they were desperate for help. We didn't have enough time to actually go to market and try to get them, a different program or move their program. So they just hired me to take over their current program. And so we got in, or I got in the door, I dug in, and 9 months later, we were able to market their renewal off schedule and move their program from a high risk insurance carrier to a premier insurance carrier, which reduced their annual spend by 50%.
Wow.
That same company just a few weeks ago, they're still a client, obviously. They wanted me to be on a call for a new customer they were trying to onboard to show that how closely they work together with insurance and the way our program was structured so they could have full confidence in doing business with my client. And guess what? They got the deal. So we're helping increasing revenue by the insurance programs that we're putting together, and also protecting the profit margin as well, because you can increase your revenue, but the profit margin, I guess, is what really matters, right? And in a similar manner, I had a client that was able to double their assets in a 12-month period without paying a cent more on their insurance spend because of the way we structured their program.
Wow.
And last one I'll give you real quick. I had another client at renewal. We went back out, and after we measured everything and we prepared our renewal proposal, their ROI for the previous 12 months for doing business with my team was over 550%. So we are making a huge impact for our clients that are engaged, that allow us to be engaged with them, that really want to be able to control that spend and protect their financial future. And I guess I'll say this at the bottom line is, if you aren't putting your insurance program on a blueprint, if you're not blueprinting your insurance program, you might be leaving money on the table.
Right. Well, it sounds like you guys are helping from both the revenue gain side and operating cost reduction side. So that's like a winner.
Yes, absolutely. Or I would like to think so.
I'd say it is. You're hitting on two of the biggest possible things we've seen over the years. If you can help a company increase revenue, if you can help a company cut their costs, then you can help a company streamline, or any combination of those, they're probably going to be interested in doing something.
Yeah, so we've got to stop the bleeding, install controls, then create competition between underwriters. And in that process, all of those things you just mentioned are going to have a net positive impact.
Right. Absolutely. Very cool. So what are the best ways for people to connect with you, Monte?
Well, you can always reach out to me on LinkedIn. You and I are connected on LinkedIn. We have a great community out there in the transportation industry. So I'm available there. My direct dial to my desk is 615-515-6059. And my email is simply mking, M-K-I-N-G, at com-ins.com. Our website, of course, is com-ins.com for commercial insurance associates. So you can connect me there. And listen, if you don't really know where to start, or maybe you're not comfortable reaching out to me directly, then I would say call Andy and reach out to him. Maybe ask him a few questions that he might be able to help or relay. And one way or the other, I'm more than happy to extend an olive branch and see what we can do to help improve your situation.
Absolutely. I get referrals every week, and I give referrals. And, you mentioned something about being a servant. There was a famous quote by Zig Ziglar: you can have everything you want in life if you help enough other people get what they want. And I've seen that. It's so true. But yeah, we're happy to refer, people. And thank you very much for coming on the show today, Monte. It was great discussing these topics with you today.
Absolutely. I'm looking forward to the next one.
Absolutely. That's going to do it for this episode of the Trucking Tower podcast. Thanks for listening or watching, everybody, and we will see you again soon. Take care.